Sagittarius, welcome to your monthly horoscope for February 2024. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in this horoscope, I will be walking you through each week of the month, giving you a really good understanding of the major themes, topics, and energy that you will be navigating for the month ahead. So let's get right into it. So, I first just want to start by mentioning that as we come into February, we have all planets direct. So, it is go time. It is time to start moving forward, implementing and creating whatever it is that you want for 2024. We will have all planets direct until April 1st when we have Mercury station retrograde. So, we do have quite a few months with all planets direct that we want to utilize. Now, we also have Pluto back in Aquarius. So, we did have Pluto in Aquarius back in 2023 between March and June, giving us a tiny little taste of what this Pluto in Aquarius energy is going to bring. However, Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for the majority of 2024. So, we're definitely going to get a better idea of what Pluto in Aquarius is going to bring us collectively and individually this year, especially this month, because we have all of the personal planets currently in Capricorn and the personal Mercury, Venus, Mars, and those planets are going to enter Aquarius throughout the month of February, really the first 2 weeks, and form a conjunction to Pluto, really giving us an idea of this, what this Pluto and Aquarius energy is going to bring us. Now, coming into the month on February 1st, we have Mercury forming a sextile to Neptune. At this point, Mercury is still going to be in Capricorn. So I do love this for creativity and romance because Neptune is that planet of creativity, imagination, romance, and having Mercury in Capricorn, which is keeping us grounded, is really allowing us to utilize this energy in such a constructive way. I think that's the word I'm looking for. And then on February 5th, we're going to have Mercury enter Aquarius and form a conjunction to Pluto. So you have Aquarius in your third house of community, neighbors, neighborhood, communication, mindset, siblings, cousins, vehicles. There's quite a lot in this third house that Pluto is going to be transforming over the next 20 years. So you want to be paying attention this month to what is showing up with these conjunctions, because that's going to give you an idea of especially the transformation taking place while Pluto is transiting the first decan of Aquarius over the next couple of years. So you definitely want to be paying attention to what's showing up this month. Now, when Mercury enters Aquarius and forms a conjunction to Pluto, this can show up in many ways. This can be something, very transformational around your mindset because it is Mercury and it is in that third house. It could have to do with vehicles. It could have to do with siblings, cousins, communication in some way. Mercury also rules that 10th house of career and public reputation. So there may be something, very deep, intense, or transformational showing up in this area of life. Mercury also rules that 7th house of relationships and one-on-one connections. So it can be something very transformational in that area of life as well that you're having to navigate. Now, on that same day, we're going to have Venus forming a square to Chiron. And Chiron is the wounded healer. So Venus naturally ruling our self-love, our self-worth, and relationships. There can be something triggered or activated at this time around old hurts, old wounds, or old vulnerabilities around self-love, self-worth, and relationships. So whatever is showing up for you at this time, Sagittarius, just remember that these squares bring in opportunity for personal growth. So as long as we're moving through this energy and we're really healing the best we can and, moving through it naturally and not ignoring it, but paying attention and just going through the motion, we're really bringing in this amazing opportunity for, healing, transformation, and personal growth. Now, we're also in this Jupiter Saturn sextile energy, which at this point we've been in for a couple of weeks and will be in well into February. Now, I love this energy because having Saturn in Pisces is really having us become it's like Pisces is that energy of spirituality and energy, and having Saturn in Pisces, it's almost like if we're taking care of our energy and we're doing the spiritual work, there's this amazing opportunity for growth and expansion. It's like being able to, it's like this manifestation power, having a Jupiter in Taurus, which literally is the physical. Taurus is, physical reality. It's an earth sign. It's like how it's this amazing manifestation power. How I look, I know I'm repeating myself, but that's like the biggest, it's the term that's kind of coming to me intuitively. It's like being able to manifest in such an amazing way as long as we're doing the work, as long as we're doing the spiritual work and taking care of our energy. Now, on February 6th, we're going to have Venus form a T square to the nodes. And so this is where there can be something showing up for you. Now, let's just touch on the nodes for a second. You have the North Node in Aries, which is here in your fifth house, and the South Node in Libra, which is in your 11th house. So the fifth house represents children, creativity, passion, romance, hobbies, interests, and the 11th house rules friends and friendships, social groups, online connections, networking, organizations, your hopes and your dreams. So there's already a lot of transformation and change taking place in these areas of life this year because the nodes represent where we're having the eclipses, and the South Node represents, the past or a releasing and letting go of something. And the North Node represents something new, like a new direction, a new journey. And the nodes are very faded and very karmic. But whenever we have T squares to the nodes, it's almost like wanting to go in two directions at once and having to choose, having to make a decision or a choice. And Venus ruling Venus being the dispositor of that South Node and in Libra, there may be something that you're having to release and let go of in this area of life in order to kind of move forward. And again, that 11th house is, friends and friendships, social groups, maybe an organization you're attached to, or maybe some type of group that you're affiliated with. Now, Venus also rules that sixth house of work, health, and daily routine. So it can also have to do with those sixth house themes and topics as well that may be coming up, and you're having to choose, you're having to make a choice on something. Now, on the 7th, we're going to have Venus forming a trine to Uranus. And this is like a beautiful surprise coming in. And again, this can have to do with the sixth or the 11th house because Venus, rules those areas of life for you. But, or it could be, money and finances because Venus is still going to be in Capricorn at this point. And so there might be something around money and finances coming in that was very unexpected. Not, and it's an easy flowing energy. It's a trine. So it's not necessarily, something difficult that you're having to navigate. The only thing is that it's Uranus. So it's out of the blue, it's unexpected. So yeah, I look at it honestly as like a beautiful surprise. And then on the 8th, we're going to have the sun form a square to Uranus. And the sun rules our consciousness and life force energy, and Uranus rules the electrical systems in our body. So when I look at the sun square Uranus, like this energy, as almost like energetic ups and downs, like this can be a day where it's just very hard to kind of regulate the energies within. It can be very hard to connect if you meditate. It could be a little difficult to kind of tap into those energies. You may feel that you're just energetically up and down. It's very unstable. Now, on the 9th, we have our new moon in Aquarius, and that new moon is going to be square Uranus. And Uranus is actually the ruler of that new moon. And so that new moon is going to be in your third house, again, of community, neighbors, neighborhood, your mindset and communication. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the moons because I do post separate forecasts going into the new and full moon chart and also all 12 rising signs. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss a forecast. However, what I do want to say about this new moon is that whatever intentions you set at the time of this new moon or whatever you are implementing at this time, know that however the manifestations kind of come to fruition, it's going to expect the unexpected. It's going to come in ways you never expected because of that square to Uranus. There's going to be a lot of unexpected twists and turns with the journey of this new moon. So just remember that. Now, on February 10th, we're going to have Mercury square Jupiter. And also keep in mind, Jupiter is your chart ruler. So, all of this kind of energy connecting to Jupiter, you're really feeling this. And even like this Jupiter Saturn sextile is really bringing in this ability to, kind of implement and move forward with something that can truly be long lasting, foundational, and, oh my goodness, what is the word I'm looking for? sustainable. Sorry. And so when we have this Mercury square to Jupiter, Mercury is going to be in Aquarius. So there's a lot of ideas at this point. There's a lot of Aquarius is this energy of ideas, innovations. There's a lot going on here. And with this square to Jupiter, it can feel very overwhelming. This can be an energy of just like bombarded with information, or there's a lot going on mentally that it could be a little bit overwhelming. Now, on the 11th is when we start that North Node Chiron conjunction. And this is a 2-week transit. And this is when the transit begins on February 11th. And I look at this transit, this is an Aries in your fifth house, but we know that Chiron represents the wounded healer. And so there is, something throughout the month of February for all of us. There can be something coming up around old hurt, wounds, vulnerabilities that you're having to navigate. But again, this can be energy bringing in opportunity for amazing, healing and transformation that can truly change the trajectory of your journey and direction in life. So because of that North Node conjunction. So pay attention to what's kind of showing up here, so that you're able to truly heal and transform. Then we come into the second week of February, and on the 13th, we're going to have Mars enter Aquarius and form a conjunction to Pluto. Now, this can be very volatile. It's Mars. Mars rules anger, aggression, conflict, fights. Mars can also sever and separate. This is in your third house of your mindset, communication. So you do want to be watching your communication at this time. And there's quite a lot of energy here, Sagittarius. So there is a lot going on, around your mindset, or even around, within your community, maybe even with your neighbors, vehicles, siblings, cousins. Like there's a lot of focus on this area of life. And when Mars, forms that conjunction of Pluto, there can be something quite volatile showing up, maybe within your community or maybe with a neighbor that you want to be mindful of. Now, we also have Venus and Venus forming a sextile to Neptune. Venus still being in Capricorn at this time. I love this again for creativity and romance. And because Venus is in Capricorn, which is really, we're able to kind of stay grounded with this energy, stay focused. I really love that for creativity and romance. And then on the 14th, so I put Saturn as sextile Jupiter. I mean, we're still in this energy. I think they just move like a different degree, but I just put that just kind of to show that we are still in this, sextile energy. On the 16th, we're going to have Venus enter Aquarius and form a conjunction to Pluto. So again, bringing more energy into that third house. Now, we also want to keep in mind that as we have these planets enter Aquarius and form a conjunction to Pluto, they can also be affecting the other areas of our life. So when Mars enters Aquarius and forms a conjunction to Pluto, Mars rules that fifth house of children, creativity, romance, hobbies and interests. So there may be something, with these themes and topics that you're having to navigate. Venus rules your 11th house and your 6th house. So there could be something around work, health, and daily routine you're having to navigate. That can be very transformational, very intense. There could be something around friends that could be very intense and transformational you're having to navigate, or maybe some organizations you're attached to, or associations. Friends, I said friends. And the 11th house also rules your hopes and your dreams too. So there's there is so much changing there. February really is the month of change, transition, and transformation. Like there's so much going on individually and collectively this month. So this is a month to just pay attention to what is showing up. Now, also on the 16th, we're going to have Mercury square Uranus. This is a day where we can be feeling extra anxious. This can be anxiety. This could be our mind racing. This can, be a hard time focusing. There can also be something unexpected showing up around a relationship because Mercury rules that 7th house, or around your career and public reputation because Mercury rules that 10th house as well. On the 18th, we're going to have the sun enter Pisces. And you have Pisces in your fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. And we have Saturn in Pisces now. So this Pisces season is going to feel different, just like Aquarius season. This Aquarius season's feeling different because we now have Pluto in Aquarius. Last Pisces season, we did not have Saturn in Pisces. Saturn actually entered Pisces right after Pisces season. So we just missed it. So this is our first Pisces season with Saturn. And Saturn being in this fourth house is, changing your home and family in some way. Wherever Saturn transits in our birth chart, we tend to become more responsible in those areas of life. We either gain more responsibility or we lose responsibility. We maybe decide that we don't want to be responsible for these things anymore. Our responsibilities change in this area of life. Can also have to do with boundaries. This can have to do, Saturn also has to do with karmic energy as well. So there could be a lot of karmic energy around home and family that you're navigating. But this Pisces season is going to feel, a little different. Now, once we get into the third week of February, on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we have the Venus-Mars conjunction. So this is the cosmic lovers coming together in your third house. This is I'm going to talk about this in the collective forecast for February because whenever we have, well, not whenever, but the last time we had a Venus Mars conjunction in Capricorn is when we had the trucker convoy in Canada, which is really interesting. And having Aquarius rule the people, the collective humanity, I really think this is when we're going to see. Well, I think February is going to be really big just in general for people, protests, riots, people standing up. But this is great for romantic connections. Venus rules your 11th house and 6th house. Mars rules your 5th house of passion, pleasure, play, hobbies, interests. Can be a very romantic connection coming in. But I do love this. I love when the cosmic lovers come together. Maybe this is even too, maybe you meeting somebody within your local community, which is really interesting. I'm sure for some of you, it'll show up in that way. Then on the 23rd, we have Mercury entering Pisces. So bringing a bit more energy to that fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. Now on the 24th, we're going to have our full moon in Virgo at 5 degrees. And you have Virgo in your 10th house of career and public reputation. So that full moon is bringing more focus and attention to this area of life. Also think back, 6 months prior, what were the intentions you were setting at the time of the new moon in Virgo? Now is when you can see those intentions come to fruition. But again, watch for the full moon forecast that I will post going into the chart for this energy. And I will talk, all about this full moon. And I also get into all 12 rising signs. Now, on that same day, we're going to have Venus square Jupiter. When we have a Venus square Jupiter, we always want to watch for overindulgence. This can be a really big energy for that. This could be energies of feeling very overwhelmed. This is in, Venus in your third house, Venus ruling that sixth, and Jupiter in that sixth. This could have to do with, routines of some kind, maybe feeling very overwhelmed with your work routine or home routine. Something along those lines that you're having to navigate. Then once we get to the fourth week of February on the 26th, we're going to have Mars square Jupiter. So Mars is in your third house here. Mars rules that fifth house and also is the co-ruler of your 12th. But Mars squaring Jupiter can be very overwhelming. This is, of course, going to show up differently collectively. I think this is going to be a really big energy. Individually, this can just be you feeling very mentally overwhelmed because Mars is in your third house of your mind, your mindset. So this is a day where you may just want to watch for feeling mentally drained or mentally overwhelmed, and Jupiter is your chart ruler. So this could be a day for all of us that we want to be mindful of. Then on the 27th, we're going to have Mercury. Well, actually, on the 27th and 28th, we're going to have the Mercury Sun Saturn Cazimi, which is very unique. And this is going to be interesting because generally when we have a Mercury Cazimi, this is when we get some really sporadic insight, clarity, those aha moments, intuitive downloads. But we have Saturn here, and this could go, one of two ways. There could be, restriction and challenge, or it could be, really gaining clarity and insight decided on something and knowing how to implement it in such a constructive way. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this shows up individually for all of us. But this is in your fourth house of home and family. So there can definitely be something around home and family showing up at this time. Now, on the 29th, we're going to have Mercury form a sextile to Jupiter and then the Sun form a sextile to Jupiter. So, again, this can bring in some beautiful opportunity for expansion in some way. Jupiter being your chart ruler, Mercury ruling that seventh house and also the 10th. I just look at this as some opportunity, like almost like February's been such a difficult month, almost like just not necessarily difficult, but busy. And this can be where we like finally gain our optimism back. It's like, okay, now I know how I want to move forward. I'm feeling more optimistic about things now. Because Jupiter rules our optimism, right? So there could definitely be, more clarity come the end of the month with all of this energy kind of taking place. So, Sagittarius, I hope this helps you navigate the energies for February. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss a monthly horoscope or weekly forecast or lunation forecast. I will be posting these monthly horoscopes every single month, either on the last day of the month or the first day of the month. But again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.